Hello everybody, welcome back. This is the 16th House Take on Sports. I apologize for the short layoff, but I had some things going on here at home. I was under the weather for a little bit, and then also I had family in town, so that obviously was a little more important. But we're back. This is going to be a regular thing again. I apologize for the layoff, and thank you very much for watching. The last episode we did had well over 300 hits in a very short amount of time, and I was really shocked and happy and pleased about that. This week we're going to talk about the Penn State sanctions, the Phoenix Mount Rushmore sports, our player of the week, and finally our mascot or logo of the week, which this week would be a mascot. So first, we start off with Penn State. Everybody knows by now, 2 weeks ago, Penn State was hammered by the NCAA for the goings-on behind the scenes with relations to what Jerry Sandusky did and his crimes against young boys at this school for years. They lost 20 scholarships a year for the 4 years that they're put on probation. They cannot play in bowl games. They can't play in Big Ten championship games. They are going to forfeit $60 million, and they also had to forfeit wins totaling over 100 wins from 1998 to 2011, which all belong to Joe Paterno, who was the winningest coach in Division I history, is now 5th all-time winningest coach in Division I history. That legacy is tarnished to no end. It cannot be repaired. People have been asking me, is this too harsh? I have one of two ways to approach this, okay? One is schools all the time get hammered for infractions that they did not commit. Not necessarily the school, I'm sorry, the students and student athletes currently, okay? That almost seems unfair most of the time, but guess what? There's a penalty to be paid, and most schools have to pay it. And unfortunately, most student athletes that did not have anything to do with the infractions have to pay that penalty. The second way I have to look at this is Jerry Sandusky, for years, committed these crimes against young kids on school property under the auspices of Joe Paterno and that football program in football facilities. After he was gone, he was still allowed to use football facilities for his camps in which he committed some of these crimes, okay, allegedly. For years, he has gotten away with this, and the one time they tried to turn him in and call the police, Joe Paterno, according to the report, the Louis Freeh report, stopped them from calling the police. Guess what? That is wildly wrong on so many levels. You are not the person to stop it, and you shouldn't have, and guess what? Penn State, unfortunately, has to pay the penalty. It's either this or a 4-year death penalty, which means they completely take away the football program. This probably has a lesser impact, although it is wide-ranging impact and probably something they deserve. I'm sorry, for years, he allowed this to go on campus with the use of the football facilities while this guy was still running his camps. And Penn State, I'm sorry, you got what you deserved on this. I don't feel good about the scholarship losses for student athletes. I wish there was a way each time the NCAA took away scholarships from these student athletes, they were allowed somehow, or somehow the school could get together with them and find a way to give those scholarships to students that are actually enrolled in just basic education programs at the universities. Say you lose those 20 scholarships per year, those 20 scholarships can be put to students somewhere else in the university. That, I think, would be a good idea. I'm sorry, Penn State. Got a lot of respect for the school, but this right here is just the worst kind of thing possible. The worst thing you can do for children is hurt them. Children, for the most part, cannot defend themselves, and guess what? They do not deserve this. There's no telling what type of lifetime ramifications this holds for these people, these young men, and I feel so bad for them, and I feel terrible. Penn State, you deserve this. Let's move on. Let's build something better for the future and hope that these types of things don't happen very often, if at all. Next, the Phoenix Mount Rushmore sports. This is kind of tough. It's not tough because Phoenix is not a great city. It's tough because Phoenix doesn't have a long history of sports franchises and truly impact players that have played their entire careers there. Having said that, we start off with Steve Nash on the mountain, a 6-time assist leader, a 2-time MVP, and a 6-time All-Star. considered to be one of the greatest point guards of all time, and obviously he's heading out of town. Phoenix couldn't afford to hold on to him any longer, and he wanted to win championships. So now he's in LA with Kobe. The second person, Randy Johnson. Now this is kind of a big pick for me because he only played 8 years in Phoenix for the Arizona Diamondbacks, but guess what? He won 5 Cy Young Awards. 5 Cy Youngs, the best pitcher in the league. 2,077 strikeouts in those 8 years, 38 complete games, 14 shutouts, and he was a world champ in 2001. The next player, just like Randy Johnson, only played 8 years in Phoenix for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Although he only played those 8 years, a big impact. Again, 5-time All-Star Luis Gonzalez. In 2001, he had 57 homers, and he had the game, or actually the series-clinching hit for the Arizona Diamondbacks in the World Series of the New York Yankees. And if you haven't ever seen that play, please look at it. It's a bloop single over second base, and him running down the first base line just celebrating like crazy. The last person on that mountain is really a tough spot, but it belongs to Larry Fitzgerald, because I think Larry Fitzgerald of the Arizona Cardinals is one of the best wide receivers out there today. He is a 6-time Pro Bowler. Twice he's led the league in touchdowns, and right now currently he has 73 touchdowns, which is 7th amongst active players. Next, our player of the week. This is a little delayed because of the timing of this, but Ernie Els won the British Open. Well, now it's about 2 weeks now. He came back from not necessarily a huge deficit, but because the guys in front of him had bigger numbers or had a lower score, he had to play a little catch-up. 4 holes to go in the tournament, he was 4 shots back, and he still managed to pull out the victory, winning by 1 shot with scores of 67, 70, 68, and 68. He hadn't won in over 2 years, so it makes it all the more impressive. He beat Adam Scott by 1 stroke. Adam Scott basically fell apart, but at the same time, Ernie Els, an old-timer, they call him the Big Easy, that's his nickname, pulled it out, and he is our player of the week. Finally, our mascot of the week. Not a logo, but a mascot this week, Herbie Husker of the Nebraska Cornhuskers. For some reason, I've always had an affection for this character. I'm not sure why. I hadn't always been a Nebraska Cornhuskers football fan necessarily, or any other sport. But I love this mascot. Lots of energy, lots of enthusiasm. Love watching him run up and down the sidelines, and kind of silly and fun to watch. So that is it. Really appreciate you watching. Please stay tuned. Our podcast is coming online here soon, hopefully in about a month and a half. Trying to get funding for it right now to get the equipment and actually get the boards and get my studio set up. So please keep coming back and watching this. Share it with everybody, and I thank you very much, and we'll see you next week. Bye.